heritage.
Good morning and good morning. Welcome to today's edition of Island Tea. It's Monday, January 12th, 2026. Just about 4 minutes after the hour of 8. Just to remind you, we're being simulcast on TVC Channel 40, Facebook, as well as YouTube. We are on your FM dial at 98.9. If you wish to bring something pressing to the fore or join in on our conversation this morning, just to remind you of our numbers in the UK, 0333440065. In the US, 1718-285-6984 or 1-305-921-4619 or our local number 4660989. Quint, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm okay, and you?
I was just about to say I can't hear you. I'm good, thanks. I am good this morning. And as I was telling Quint when I got in this morning, that the St. Lucia Prime Minister has since made a statement, as I would have seen many articles with persons referencing not hearing anything from him in particular. And he did his New Year's address, I think yesterday it was, and he spoke about them signing a memorandum of understanding. He also said that it is skilled persons from countries that they can't go back to, but he didn't say if anything else pertaining to that. He also mentioned that the memorandum of understanding, basically, I want to make sure I'm clear that let me play what he said so I don't say the wrong thing, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Give me 1 second.
In the meantime, it's quite strange that all of them are saying the same thing, but they can't unite together to make the Caribbean a better place. But when it comes to some kind of rhetoric to pull wool over the people's eyes, all of them are saying virtually the same thing. And it is also quite interesting that there are so much of these individuals that they can be dispersed around the Caribbean. You know, it's not to say it's like 10, it's not 15, and that is what we're saying. We're saying these are large numbers of peoples, and they will include people apart from what you are telling us about skilled people. I mean,
There's another statement. I'm looking. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to pull it up. It's not coming up. When you want to find your stuff. Oh, here we go. Okay, let me make sure it's at the point that it should be at.
St. Lucia's foreign policy and future engagements. The MOU is to establish international norms. We'll continue to work with our regional partners, potential transfer of certain and the principle and future engagement. This has approved a memorandum of understanding between the government of St. Lucia and the government of the United States to accept the potential transfer of certain third country nationals present in the United States. This agreement is non-binding and is at the complete discretion of both governments. The MOU establishes a framework for cooperation and does not trigger any immediate transfer and future engagements. The MOU is orderly, transparent, and consistent with the laws, policies, and national interests of St. Lucia. Let me make it clear that no agreement has been signed and no details are available. As I have always done on matters of national interest, I will provide all relevant and applicable information to the citizens of St. Lucia. I expect that there will be those who are supportive and those who are against providing such support to the United States. But I ask that you rest assured that I will always put you first and act in the best interest of the people of our beloved country, no matter how difficult the decisions may be. Let me assure St. Lucians that as of today, there has been no information given to the government of St. Lucia regarding any changes in the United States visa policy for St. Lucia, and St. Lucians wishing to travel to the United States. Our future prosperity cannot.
Yeah, because as we would have spoken before, for the St. Lucians that didn't get their visa, that one day when almost all of them were turned back, including the Minister of Government. And I think some of them are still reeling from the fact that they're still not getting visas. So
Look, here how he ends it. Be rest assured that I will always put you first, but we are knowing this last. Okay? All of them are saying we've signed a memorandum of understanding, but yet still they're saying nothing is signed yet. So what are you saying?
So you just put your country down on it? You haven't signed? Because just like how Gaston said he's taking 10, but nobody else is saying how much they're taking. And the fact that he said it's non-binding, I see a report from Guyana says the same thing, that basically the governments can decide whether they want to accept or don't want to accept.
This shows all of us as Caribbean people that the Caribbean governments and islands can very well unite, but they choose not to do so. Because you notice all of them are saying the same thing? All of them are saying the same thing, and they didn't sit down together and discuss this.
Don't you think they were in the same room when they had to sign this MOU?
No, I don't think so. Okay. If you study how the U.S. does things, it doesn't do things when you're together. It comes to you separately. It's the divide and conquer strategy, right? I mean, and then you're telling us how nothing is signed on to yet, but you signed a memorandum of understanding, and we're going to get nice people. And hello, caller.
Caller, good morning. You're live on LNT.
Good morning to everybody.
Good
and greetings once more in Jesus Christ's name, the only Savior of sinners, from their sins and from hell, by the gospel only, through faith only, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, also I would like to say we need to become a republic and get out the British Commonwealth, and the quicker the better to me, in my opinion, in one way, at least one way. Now, last week, I saw a meme, and the meme said this: since the kidnapping of Maduro, the meme said this: the moment 800 pastors and other political prisoners were freed in Venezuela. Now, if there's any truth to this, that still does not give America the right to do what they did, if there's any truth to it. But on the other hand, I must also say that if there's any truth to this, this was a very evil and wicked thing that Maduro had happening under his presidency of Venezuela, in having people being imprisoned, if they were imprisoned simply because they were pastors and political prisoners. Two wrongs does not make a right. And this would have been a very wicked thing for him to have had under his presidency, and this also would be very, very wrong, evil, and wicked as well. Me condemning America for the wrong that they did does not necessarily say that Maduro is good, because both of them, to me, seem to be very wrong, and this will be a very wicked thing. You see, I want to be fair, I want to be honest, truthful, and upright. And when you're wrong, you're wrong. And when you're right, I want to also say that you are right. You know, for some people, not some people, for a lot of people, if you say, for example, America wrong, you automatically saying, for example, Cuba right. Or if you say any other the political party is wrong, you automatically saying the other's right, and vice versa. If you say one is wrong, people judging you to think that you're saying the others are automatically correct. Well, no, not necessarily. All of them could be wrong. And so this meme that I saw was very troubling to me, and I said I wanted to mention it because this was also a very evil and wicked thing, if it is true. Anyhow, thank you very much. Take care.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Well, I'm glad that he kept saying if it is true, because I see so much memes, right? And some of them, and I'm sure you've seen them, Cartenses, some of them, soon as you start to read, you just troops and you move on, because they're so far-fetched in what they're saying. And then there's another thing to that. The propaganda machine knows that some of the most gullible people are those Christian people. So they're going to put anything in there, and as long as they say you're prosecute, just what Trump did with that place in Africa where he says they're prosecuting the Christians,
Nigeria.
but they were killing the Muslims also, but they pick and choose. You understand? I saw a meme that said, St. Kitts Nevis Prime Minister has bowed to the slave masters. So
I saw plenty memes over the weekend. They said, First Seasons, now deportees. I saw one where they have, it looks very AI, a St. Kitts flag on a tanker. And
well, you know that is AI.
That's totally AI, and I can't. And people are buying it. People are commenting on it.
Some
and I'm
people
like,
are so gullible.
yeah, like look at that. That's placed there. Listen. It's just a lot, as you rightfully said, so we have to really pick and choose as to what we believe and what we don't believe. Yeah. But Quint, I wanted to read, we have a caller?
No.
I wanted to read a little bit of the Guyanese article, and it says, and I quote, "We have been in productive discussions on a framework of understanding which is consistent with our national priorities and needs and supportive of the USA objectives. These discussions are ongoing," Foreign Secretary Robert Passad told Stabrook News yesterday when contacted. A source explained that in Guyana's case, the persons coming here would be skilled non-felons who have chosen to come of their own volition, having been given by the U.S. a list of countries to choose from, as they did not want to return to their home state. The option may also be given for the persons to return to their home countries at any time. It is said, and I continue to quote, "It is not a case where they are being forced on us. The onus is on the government of Guyana to accept or not accept those persons," a source explained. Under the planned agreement, the United States will stand the cost of the relocation of the persons. They really think they have a choice?
They don't have a choice, really.
They don't have a choice.
They have a choice and they don't have a choice. I mean this. It is being forced upon us. There's no doubt about it.
But you see, they said it's not being forced on us.
But that's what, look, certain people who are, there are certain people who the U.S. can do no wrong, right? Okay, they are being forced upon us. That is true, right? But we do also have a choice. We can decide here or nay. Then when we make that choice, brace ourselves because we will get some pressure. Hello, caller.
Grand Rising Quint, Grand Rising Hortensia and the listeners.
Good morning.
Guys, I know we have a lot to discuss as to our present day and all the global events that are taking place. But Quint and Hortensia, permit me, with your permission, to share a bit of sacred knowledge, if you will. Now, guys, I am looking at our events. I'm looking at things that are taking place and all that is mentioned in a book to which we were indoctrinated into. Now, follow me, guys. And my topic this morning, as I'm about to share, why the God of the Bible cannot be the God of this universe. Now follow me carefully, guys. If a God truly created human beings, then that same God also created the human brain, not as decoration, but for thinking, reasoning, and analysis. Using our brain is not rebellion. Critical thinking is not sin. And questioning claim about God is not pride. If a creator exists, honest evolution of the God presented by religion should be expected, not forbidden. This is important to clarify from the start. I am not disputing the possibility of a higher intelligence of consciousness behind existence. What I reject are the man-made version of God confined in ancient books, protected by fear and defended against scrutiny. When the Bible is read with reason instead of reverence, the character called God behaves nothing like an all-wise, all-knowing creator of reality. He behaves like a powerful but unstable ruler, emotional, inconsistent, poorly planned, and obsessed with praise. If this is the mind behind galaxy, gravity, DNA, consciousness, and logic, then logic itself has failed. Let's examine why. Eden, punishment for ignorance, not disobedience. In Genesis, God created two adults with zero knowledge of good and evil, not limited knowledge, not at all. He placed wisdom in a tree instead of their minds. Then he expects moral responsibility from being incapable of moral understanding. Worse, he allowed a being described as more crafty than any beast of the field, Genesis 3, verse 1, to roam freely among those innocent humans. After they eat the fruit, the Bible admits their eyes were open, Genesis 3, 7. The man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil, Genesis 3, verse 22. So awareness came after the act. That means the punishment wasn't for informed rebellion, it was for ignorance God himself designed. That's not justice. That's like a teacher giving an exam to a baby who can't read, then punish the baby for failing. Guys, I'm going to leave it at there for now. And Quint, I'm going to remind you, I posed a question to you and the listeners last year by asking you, you are a farmer and you're outside, you're tilling the ground and you came across a venomous snake. You have your wife and children at home, Quint. And I asked you last year, just recently, would you capture the snake and bring it to your house and let it loose in your house with your wife and children, knowing that this snake can kill either one, you, your wife, or your children? When we look at the scripture that we gravitated, that we were conditioned to, God and the devil, heaven and hell, and all of that. Now, Journey is saying we are capable of being gods and we are capable of being the devil, the serpent. Now, when you look at the story behind God and Satan, Satan rebelled in heaven, wherever heaven is, but he was cast out. And later down in Revelation, he said, woe be unto the inhabitants of the earth, because Satan has been cast down. When I ask you if you come across a snake being a farmer, and you know the danger of the snake, Quint, would you bring it and let it loose in your house with you, among your wife and children? But isn't this is what we're saying in the scripture? Satan was in heaven with God, but he was allowed, he was cast down. And in Revelation, it said, woe be unto the inhabitants of the earth. No, Satan could have been cast there. We have Pluto, we have Mars, we have Jupiter, but Satan was allowed to come on earth. What Journey is saying, they are gods. We have duality. It's either we're going to go to the lower self, which is of the lust of ego, because Satan and God is within man. But it depends on the duality of which we applied ourselves to, the higher consciousness of the mind, to vibrate onto the frequency of love and life and life and love. And to let go of ego, lust, greed, hate, wars, and death that is of the lower self. But you see, in the Christian community within our space of our African people, when we read the text, we do not see ourselves in it.
We have another caller, Johnny.
Okay, Quinn, but we are going to finish up now. We need to see ourselves in the text because our reality is our realization. What the Bible gives us through faith and what we accepted is blind faith without facts. Our reality is our realization. It is time we detox our mind from indoctrination. Quinta, I'll leave it there for now, just to accommodate the other caller.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Johnny.
Hello, caller.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks be to God. And that's the God of the Bible, not Journey little G God. Anyway, Journey just asked Quint a question, right?
That is a rhetorical question, you know. The answer.
Yeah,
the
but
answer is right.
listen, it's a rhetorical question, right? But it's a reality also. He answered reality. Many people today don't they take a snake and put it in their house and step, and you hear that same snake choke them to death,
Yep.
or kill them.
Mm-hmm. Madness.
So it's a rhetorical question, but it's also a reality-facing question. And then I'm going to go no further with Journey and the Bible. Because for me, you don't believe in the Bible, stop torturing yourself with it. Because all you're doing is blaspheming and heaping fire on your head. Leave it alone. Have a good day, guys.
Same to you.
Thank you, Cleo. But Journey's going to say why a loving Bible should heap fire on him. You know, that's going to be another question that he's going to have. Yeah. Because we know if as he oftentimes say, if God is so loving, why he says fear this and this and that. And see, as I said, and I shy away from it all the time, I don't like arguing about Jesus and I don't like arguing about politics because we get nowhere in a sense. As Cleo said, we torture ourselves.
Hello, caller.
Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
Hi, good morning, Potencia. Good morning, Quint.
Yeah,
Grand rising to you both and to the wider listening public.
We might have to cut you off. I don't know. Today is Monday, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if the police will be in today, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but let me put one little thing out there. I'm not going to delve into my matter at hand. I sent out an invitation to Greg to come into the studio. And he would have known that it's the second Wednesday, which come Wednesday, he should come to the studio. And like Mr. McMahon said, Mr. McMahon called in from the overseas line so that we, the locals in St. Kitts and Nevis, were able to get an opportunity to call him, wherein, and there are times when two people would be on the line and would serve the general public. I sent out an invitation to Greg. If you cannot make it come Wednesday, February, the second Wednesday in the second Wednesday in the month of February, come in, sit in. Let's have a conversation so that other persons can weigh in by freeing up the local line or lines, because it already seems like it's one work. Or the option, it could be that you can call in on the overseas line and love the local line to sing. I think that's reasonable. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah, but
I said, walk with your facts.
You shouldn't have to beg Greg to come, and you sound like you're pleading with Greg to come. I mean, it's either he wants to come or he don't want to come. I'm gonna have to go and answer the door, though.
Okay, it sounds like the police is in this week because we didn't have traffic talk this week. But Greg, as Africa say, if you're listening, and Africa, you can continue. Come in.
Yes,
I thought you meant this Wednesday, but you mean in February, the next month that's coming.
No, well, if he couldn't, we see, I did not really, I'm on and off, so I would not have known that he accepted the invitation, but I sent it out quite a little while now. I would not have known. I would have had to probably listen to the program throughout its duration, and I was on and off, so I did not know if he responded to my invitation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to have to break now because the police is
Thanks
here,
for listening.
All right, thank you, Africa.
So I'm going to take a commercial break and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
This Christmas, add postpaid for a festive win-win. We're gifting you a 50-inch smart TV or a $400 Amazon gift card. When you add a Flow postpaid mobile plan to your home internet, you can celebrate the most wonderful time of the year with a big screen or big shopping. Let us upsize your TV or clear your Amazon cart. Either way, you come out on top. Add postpaid to internet today for your festive win-win. Visit discoverflow.co for more info. Terms and conditions apply.
We're back on Island T, and with us in-house we have Constable Bell. Happy New Year to you, Constable Bell. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you for joining us. Every time I say welcome back, I feel bad. because of what welcome back has become in the Federation. I just... thanks for joining us this morning. Yeah, you get it right? Because... myself? Okay. Listen, okay. Thanks for joining me in the new year. And let us begin with our topic for today. Constable Bell, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. I'm just here trying to send you an email. Okay, good morning, Wagerland, WinFM, Cartentia, and engineer. I didn't get the name.
Quint,
yes.
Yeah.
Happy New Year to everyone. I have many topics today. We're really gonna refresh on certain topics that we spoke about last year. Observations during the season, and the requirements for vehicle inspections. Because we find that we are stopping a lot of vehicles and they are passing the inspection, but the requirements are not met. So we're trying to appeal to the inspecting officers and persons who have vehicles to be inspected to know what are the requirements. Okay. Last year we spoke about the windscreen, the cracked windscreen, and we, exclamated on it, and we emphasized, and we gave them the timing, the grace period, which would have been the 31st of December 2025 last year. Starting this year, there is no grace period. Okay? A lot of persons are claiming that they don't fully understand, and we're not here to, be harsh on anyone. If they're not understanding, we are here to help them understand. Even though sometimes some persons, they listen, they go through, as they say, they go through one ear and come out the next. The crack on the windscreen. Now, we know, sometimes you have a little minor crack, stuff like that. We would not penalize you or jeopardize you for that. Some persons, they have windscreen with major damages, multiple different spots, especially in the driver's area. That is not acceptable. Once the crack is excessive, it will not pass inspection. And when you carry that vehicle for inspection and that windscreen is like that, you're really supposed to park up the vehicle until it is roadworthy. Because then you continue driving that vehicle, you're driving a vehicle that hasn't met these inspection requirements. We understand some persons have friends, who might be inspecting officers and stuff like that. They might have gone to automotive art and the inspection was failed or turned down, and then they decide, well, I'm going to call this person. And sometimes the person, they take the photos in such ways to help, kind of bypass the system, just to allow this person to pass the inspection, but they're not understanding the hazard that they're causing on the road for other drivers. Now, this person might have severe crack in the windscreen and, drop in a pothole. We in St. Kitts. Potholes are all over. It's not something we are glad to say, but it's the facts.
Yeah.
Potholes are all over. Now you drop in a pothole and that windscreen now shatter back in your face.
Yeah.
Your first instinct is to close your eyes.
Oh my God.
And now your view is obstructed.
Yeah.
You can knock down somebody, you can hit an animal, you can hit an object or another vehicle. And based on how you react, sometimes person twists the steering wheel and other stuff. So it's not happening to them now, so they don't understand the consequences. And when we stop and we try to correct them, they feel, they come with this statement, oh, everybody poor, things hard right now. Yes, things hard right now. But the money you're going to take to maintain that vehicle, servicing, fuel, modifying it and stuff like that, you could have prioritized in getting a windscreen. We know that we don't manufacture windscreens in St. Kitts. So you get in an accident today and your windscreen, is damaged. We know now it's an inconvenience for you if that vehicle is off the road. But I will not stay here and say we have came to a time period. I am not aware. I was out for a while also. I have to get an update on that. But we were supposed to get let me find the proper word, a meaningful time to give for everybody. We don't want to say, well, we're going to give Cartensia 2 weeks to get a windscreen fixed, and I tell my friend I'm going to give him 2 months. So we're trying to find a standard time frame to give persons, if they're involved in an accident, they report it to us.
Yeah.
Even though the police may come and deal with the accident, you come and you report it to us that as a result of this accident, your windscreen was damaged, and you're going to put in an order for it, you know. You come with your facts to show, well, yes, you did order a windscreen and what's not. And based on the timing that it will take to come, we would try to work with persons. Now, some persons, they take it up on their own. The windscreen is cracked, and to try to keep it together, they put the whole windscreen tinted. No, that's another offense, because your whole windscreen is not supposed to be tinted.
I have not seen that one.
Oh yes, persons put tint on the whole windscreen and claim that it's holding the glass together. A clear transparent tint?
I guess something to hold it together.
What if they put a transparent tint? Tints have different levels.
Yes.
What if they put on one that is almost like not like a tint, really?
Yeah. Well,
just to keep it together.
I wouldn't give you a definite answer for that. But what I would say is that the tint limit is at least 35%. And once it's on the windscreen, it's only allowed to come down 10 inches from the top. So even if it's a lower tint, and it comes down on the whole windscreen, it's not allowed. Someone higher may have to tell me differently, but based on what we were instructed.
For instance, look, you're looking at mature glass,
yes,
right? You see it has on a kind of
a film to the top,
right?
yes.
To the top. Down below I can see. What if they put on a tint below that? That tint is on, but we don't, I could still see you just like this.
We only allow it from 10 inches to the top.
Oh.
Yes. And that film from the 10 inches should be 35% or more. Some persons are of the view that because we give them 10 inches of tint to the front of the windscreen, they could tint it however dark they want. No, it's supposed to be 35% or more.
Oh, let me ask you this. 35% is what? The lowest?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything lower than that, it gets darker.
Okay. So do they have higher than that tint?
Yes.
So that is what I'm saying. But I seem to be understanding you now, because
I know what you're saying. I'm saying even if it's 50% tint,
yeah,
or 65% tint, it's only allowed 10 inches from the top.
Can't go down no further.
Can't go down no further.
That to me doesn't really make that much sense, because if I'm looking at you like this, and you almost can't tell a tint is on, but a tint is on, but I can see you clear just as if a tint isn't on.
And that's why I said I understand what you're saying, but someone higher than me would have to make that decision.
Okay.
Yes, but based on what's gazetted in the law, they are only allowed 10 inches from the top. And it should be
tint period.
Tint period.
Okay.
And it should be 35% or more.
Okay.
Okay. So as we talk about the windscreen, we go on to the vehicle inspection standards. The front windscreen tint. Tint on the front windscreen must not exceed 10 inches from the top. Window tint standard. Tint on the windows and the rear windscreen must allow at least 35% light.
I see tint on the side windows.
Tint on the side windows and the rear windscreen.
Okay.
You saw that too?
Yeah, I see the rear windscreen, but
yes,
I just want to make sure the side windows.
Yes.
I would just want the audience, our listening audience, to get it clear. Okay.
In addition, the interior of the vehicle must be reasonably visible from the exterior regardless of light transmission levels. Rental vehicles, no tint is permitted on rental vehicles.
But they still have some rental vehicles that have tints.
And that's why you realize it's in red? No tint is permitted on rental vehicles.
I see that. But
when these persons apply for their business license, especially when it comes to rental, and we give them the standards, these are the requirements that we inform them about.
Okay, let me ask this question. Is this a new thing for rental companies? that tints are not allowed on the vehicles?
I will tell you this. I have been at traffic since 2018, and I have been taught that since.
Okay. All right. Got you.
So,
It's probably
new? No.
Okay. All right. Got you.
But some people try to make it seem like it's new to them, to try to get a blind, see if they can manipulate the police. But all rental companies
knows
this.
Okay, got
And
it.
what we find also are that persons are bringing in vehicles for personal use, putting on private plate numbers, but yet renting these vehicles because they want to have tint on the vehicles. So there's no rental plate, so they're putting tint on the vehicles.
So that's a way around it.
Yeah, it's not really a way around it because they're still putting themselves in problems. Because if you're insuring a vehicle for private use and someone gets in an accident because they rented your vehicle, now the rental insurance to the insurance company compared to private use vehicle insurance is a difference. So then you're defrauding the insurance company.
Okay. Oh boy.
And a lot of persons, they see somebody get through with it, and the person tell them, man, this is the better way to go, and they go, but they don't see the consequences in the future. Okay. Because if I am renting a vehicle from someone, I expect if I get in an accident, I can speak freely and said, hey, I rented this vehicle from this person for this amount of time, and I got in an accident. What's that? You go to the insurance, they're going to ask you for an explanation as to what happened.
Okay.
And you're going to tell the insurance that you rented the vehicle.
Okay.
But they're going to be like, rent? But this is a private
vehicle.
Yeah. Okay? So I want persons to be very, very careful with that.
Okay.
Now, we go to the number plates. Number plates must be in good condition and correctly displayed at the front and rear center of the bumper. Now, we've been speaking about this all year last year, and yet persons will go, carry their vehicle for inspection, ensure that there's a number plate to the front and rear center of their vehicle just to pass the inspection. Even with their windscreen, they will take off all the tint from their windscreen just to ensure that they can pass the inspection. They meet all the requirements to pass the inspection, and as they pass the inspection, they go back. They take off the proper number plate from the front and rear center, they put it on the side. They go back and they tint the whole windscreen. Now, people need to understand, when the police stop you, they can check and see what condition your vehicle was in when you inspected that vehicle.
Don't cheat the police.
So if you inspected the vehicle with a clean windscreen and your number plate properly placed, and we stop you, you have your windscreen fully tinted, your number plate on the side, then you know that person is being malicious.
Yeah, that is being malicious.
Yeah, seriously. Because why would you go through all of that?
And this has been going on for a while. And when I stop persons, they like to say, well, this is how I inspect the vehicle. And I will tell them, well, okay, hold on. And I will go on my phone and I go on the inspection app and I will show them you're lying to the police.
Wow.
So even if I wanted to use my discretion, I will no longer use it.
Yeah.
Because you're taking my kindness for weakness.
Exactly.
And when you see that, I would propose you don't give any sympathy at all.
Yes, yeah, we don't.
Because me as a parent, that's like my child doing that. And I mean, me as a parent, I'm going to be really incensed. I'm going to think like, hey, this boy or this girl think I'm a fool.
Yeah, because it's like you send your child from home properly dressed, and then you're driving down the road where the school is, and you see the pants on the bum, they shout out the pants,
yeah.
And this is not how I left you at the house.
That's it, yeah.
What, and morning, Cotton.
Good morning,
I
Happy New
apologize
Year.
for my tardiness, just circumstances beyond my control. Happy New Year to everybody.
Same.
And so, in relation to the point that Bell just made, For this year, we are going to enforce strictly. So in cases where persons license their vehicles, and we realize that you would have done that just conveniently to pass your inspection, but you are in deliberate violation, then we are going to impound your vehicle.
Yep.
Because the section, I think is section 46 or 36 in the Vehicles and Road Traffic Act speaks to whenever there is an infraction, the vehicle can be impounded until that infraction is corrected.
Yep.
Yes. So maybe that is what we might have to do. Especially in the case of tint.
I think you should, because
Yes.
again, it's malicious. I mean, once you find something is malicious, why are you giving any leeway on it?
That's
Right.
Yes.
Yes, the number plates must meet the prescribed size and font requirement. Letters and digits must be a height of at least 3.5 inches. The thickness must be at least 5/8 of an inch. There must be a minimum space of 0.5 inch between letters and digits. So to go back over, the height of the numbers must be at least 3.5 inches. The thickness or the width of the digits must be at least 5/8 of an inch. And the spacing between the digits and the letters must be a 1/2 inch. Okay?
Got you.
Yes. The tire standards. Tires must have a minimum thread depth of 2 millimeters. Now, I don't think much persons are too familiar with how the tire.
You read my mind.
The tire thing go. I think we should ask the inspection persons, when persons are going to get here by the tire places and stuff like that, for them to assist us with educating the persons about the tires. These inspection places, these tire places should have the meter that could read the depth of the tires. I was recently doing some reconstruction accidents with an expert that was flew to the Federation, and I had the pleasure to learn about it. I don't want to make the system look bad or anything like that, but that was actually the first time I had any interaction with that meter since I've been working. But the tire places, persons are familiar with it, and we would ask them, when you're doing servicing or stuff like that, just do this to assist the drivers. However, we have discretion. Now, we mostly give persons tint when we start seeing thread on their tires, because we find that, well, this is the level of you exceeding the leeway that you might have had. You could, your tires are smooth, and people will say, hey, I have to change my tires because they're smooth. But if the fact that your tires reach to thread,
where you can see the thread.
where you see the thread, that means you're abusing the tire. The tire is begging for a break, and you're still running it, and that could be a major hazard. You go around the corner, and the least stone you run and now give you a blowout, and then now you lose control. You get in an accident, and even though that might have caused the accident, your negligence contributed to it. Because when you get up, you're supposed to ensure you inspect your vehicle. Some person go under the hood and check engine and stuff like that. Those are who more know about vehicles. But general drivers should walk around their vehicles and inspect their vehicles before they move. At least check their lights, their brakes, and stuff like that. Because You telling the police you didn't know. It's not really up to us to take that as an excuse, you know. Ignorance to the law is no excuse. But we have discretion, as we say. But if you're traveling from Parsons and you're stopped in town, driving on a one lighted headlamp, and you're gonna tell the police it just blew. Light creates heat. And if you touch that lamp and that lamp has
It's
no
cold.
heat there,
Oh my God.
that light was
shameful.
out long.
You have a caller.
Caller, go ahead for the officers and traffic talk. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to everyone in the studio and on the listening public. I have a couple concerns, but I'm just going to raise one today.
Yes, sir.
On a weekly basis, I'm seeing many accidents in these roundabouts. I drive for a living, so I see them on a daily basis, people using the roundabout wrong and so forth. There's some public education, and that signage is good, because when you try to tell people, look, this is how we use the roundabout, and you say, oh, me don't know about that, cost them to drive on the left, and blah, 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 blah. And I usually tell them, look, in the highway code, it's in there. In addition to that, I would hope for 2026, you guys start painting the lanes back in the roundabout, especially the one at the airport, because people tend to just, whichever lane they enter the roundabout in, they tend to just drive in the middle of the roundabout. You don't know where they're going, and that roundabout had 2 lanes painted before when it was resurfaced many years ago. They never painted back the lane in the roundabout at the airport. The one at ECCB is fine. I guess the paint just need a bit highlighting, but people still using it the wrong way. And one of the main culprits I'm seeing is what I consider to be the students, them, from Ross or UMHS. And many times I'm driving, if I'm coming from Frigate Bend, I'm going to the airport, I'm in the inner lane to enter, the inner side to enter the roundabout and going, and then they're racing coming around on the outer lane to try to cut me off when I'm entering the Kim College. So I think you guys should at least do something to educate the students, them especially, and the pain, because I'm seeing many accidents where people getting hit on the side, or we're ended in these roundabouts on a weekly basis. 2 or 3 accidents I'm seeing on a weekly basis. So you guys need to look at that. Okay? Have a good day.
Thank you, Carla,
Thank you,
for
Carla.
that very important point. I see the Sarge is kind of...
Yes. Well, for quite some time we have been considering part of the education process, take into consideration the roundabouts. So that is something we will be doing in relation to that. We might even have some pre-recorded thing on AM and ZIZ so that people would be more familiar with it, and even the police Facebook page. In relation to the students, there usually be a time when you have a new intake with the new semester, the new students. Traffic officers from the traffic department will do an orientation session that had fall off, but it's something that I have had highlighted to come back and stream, because we recognize that we were having some challenge, and then that's what brought about the orientation, and then since the fall off, because we have some improvement, and then it fell off. But now it might just be important that we try to reintroduce it again.
You have a caller.
Caller, go ahead for the officers and traffic talk. Good morning.
Good morning, lady. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
And I wish you guys a healthy and a blessed new year.
Yes, same to you.
Things won't always be happy, but most of the time things happen based on the decision we make and the things that we do, and also the things that we say. But I really called to say this, that I am one who actually drives. And one of the things that I notice is when coming to a roundabout, everyone have to slow down. When it comes to a stop sign, everyone have to stop. It appears to me that going into a roundabout, it's a gift to us because you could stop, you could pause, or you could proceed, and it expedites traffic. So, for me to get in a roundabout, it's better to keep the vehicle mobilizing rather than to come to a standstill. Why would anyone in their right mind want to overtake another vehicle in a roundabout when you just slow down to come to the roundabout? You don't have to stop, you just slow down. If a vehicle...
You don't have to stop if there's any oncoming traffic, right?
Yes, yes, if there's an oncoming traffic, then you give way to traffic from your right and you proceed.
Yes.
But in the eventuality that you meet a vehicle in the road or roundabout, why would you want to overtake it? There's no reason. If you want to overtake it, that means something really wrong with you. You're really in a hurry, you're driving an ambulance or something, or fire truck. To me, you let the vehicle in front of you go ahead and you proceed. It's not going to take any time, more time than any other. So we don't have to have accidents in a roundabout. It don't make no sense to me. Yeah. Because I drive. Why would I want to overtake you in a roundabout? You in front of me, let you go. When you clear, I will do my thing and go. So I slow down and I get to put the foot on the acceleration and go. So we need not having accidents in roundabout. The other thing is driving to the back of a vehicle that is before you. If you can see the back wheel of the tires, then you know that you are not too close. So in the eventuality of the person stop in front of you, you have adequate time to stop. Because where you sit, you could see the driver and the car in front of your back wheels. Once you can see those back tires, you know you're far enough, have enough distance where you could stop. What you want to drive in somebody's trunk or drive in the back glass? That don't make no sense. So to me, I think that we have done well in the past years. We have not had too much accident. Let's not have any more. We could save time. And poor people always get in trouble. Why we got to always spending money on cars and all of that? It's too foolish. Call out the police, time for this and time for that. Come on, we could do better. Yeah. There's no reason for all them foolishness that we don't get in. Hit a bumper, mash up a tail lamp. For what? Don't make no sense. Yeah. I think we could do it. I think I've said enough.
I agree with you, caller, and you're correct. You're correct. I hope that the listeners and other motorists will take a page from your line of thinking and so on. That is responsible driving.
And you know, Cartons here, that is one of the major types of accidents we have.
In your back, right?
Rear end collision. And the thing is, sometimes persons who collide from the back feel like they're so right. They come and they're like, officer, the man just stopped so suddenly.
Yeah, if you were not on him.
But I'm asking them, do you know why did he stop? What if, while he was driving, a child ran out in the road and he wanted to stop immediately?
Exactly.
He should have hit that child to give you time to slow down behind then.
Yeah.
You were supposed to be driving at safe distance, safe speed, to be able to stop if a vehicle ahead of you stopped abruptly. Yeah. You cannot tell someone when to stop.
I always do that. Make sure I can see the tires in front of me. It's just ingrained in my head. I do. And then next, I have a complaint. You know where they don't like to yield? Coming down the highway there. Is FT Williams? Yeah, they don't like to yield. You at the airport, you yielding, you wait.
You mean coming from the airport?
Yeah.
Like
coming. Are they coming on the hill?
Yeah, they're coming on the hill.
Canary roundabout there?
No.
We coming from Monkey Hill. So we coming down. You know, there's a yield right there. Yeah. Yes. People just drive. They're not stopping.
Oh, that's true.
Constantly, they're not stopping. I do not understand if they don't understand there's a yield there. And the same thing sometimes from Connery. People don't stop either. And I'm like, but you see me coming. So I have to drive for me, you, and everybody when it comes to those yields.
I could give you an experience as this morning. And I even told the lady that I would report her. I'm not even going to give you a ticket. I'm going to report you. Make sure you come to the court, because I was making some temporary restrictions to the road because of the new law term and the ceremony that they're going to be having.
Yeah.
Now, I'm coming up Baker's Corner. My light is green. I am seeing that the other lights are red. And as I'm coming out, there's a taxi almost hitting me and the tailgate. So I slowed down, opened the door to stop the person. I actually watched the lady push up her mouth and maneuvered behind and drove. So I followed behind her, pursued behind her and stopped her. And she was like, I late for my work. Them time I want to be stopping people 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, persons are off the view because the road appears to be dead. They could just do what they want. The light is red and they want to run it. That is reckless driving. Persons who are coming out, what if I was more just coming out? She would have collided to me right in the side. And what would she would have said? Sorry? And I would have been in the hospital. Persons have to be more considerate when they're driving. And I don't feel that a lot of people give the respect that is due to the police when they're doing their work. And they like to say, oh, I always want to take money out of poor people's hand. But as the gentleman said, poor people is always who trying to get in problems.
Straight.
Because yes, you're trying to go and make a bread. But what if you had collided with me? That bread would have never made for you.
And people are normally out on the road at 5 walking. So
Exactly.
that could have been a person too. Not a vehicle.
Captain said no time is running. There are a few things I want to highlight. I don't know if Bell would have touched on them. You did the windscreen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So we just want to put it out there that the grace period has ended, and therefore that come the end of the month, we are strictly enforcing. And
so the grace period has ended at the end of the month, or it has
no,
ended?
the grace period has ended.
Has ended.
Until
Folks, you heard
the
it here.
31st of December.
Okay, so the
And
grace period is
right,
gone.
So anybody who have any cracked windscreen, once it is more than 1.5 inch, then
that
they
is
will
what I
not-
didn't.
right.
That is what I didn't.
If the crack is larger than 1.5 inch, your vehicle will not pass. And it depends on where the crack is located. If the crack is located on the driver's side, and then it create a hazard, then it will not be pass the inspection, and so on. So the windscreen will have to change. The reason why we exercise the discretion for the 1.5 inch, because at that time it's a small crack. We know over time
it gets bigger.
It can split up, so then that will give you enough time to change it for your next inspection. And so we don't expect to have persons pass the inspection and then they allow it to spread and then come and say, but I get it passed last year. The fact is that is much larger than 1.5 inches. Yeah. So that's one thing. The other thing that I want to really highlight is that during the carnival, I realized that there is a habit now where persons are literally damaging the police signs. Throw away the cones, damage the box signs. I literally have to take one of the cones from off of boys' school fence where they actually pull it down, try to rip it. So what we are going to do, and we continue to encourage responsible citizens, that the law provides for anybody, because people like, if you just turn around, you see a phone in your face. So people like to record stuff.
And antagonize the police.
If you see anybody committing any damage to the government property, we are encouraging you to have that forward to the police, and we will ensure that that person is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Worse, if we are able to meet the person in terms of that. I expect every police officer who happen to see this happening, that they take action. It just only show. You know, the commissioner would have given the stats for the year. And one of the things that the commissioner talk about with the increase is the alarming unresponsibleness of persons with socially. And that plays out in the disrespect of the traffic signs. I understand that sometimes it creates inconvenience and people become frustrated, because we have to do better in terms of whenever the restriction is in place and it ended, that we remove the restriction in a timely manner.
Yeah.
But people slow the signs, we see them slow down, we see signs damage, and now we gone to the cone. Somebody call us and tell us, they see some cones in the bush, or by Kingston Collins Highway. So why would somebody take the government property and slow them in the bush, the bushes?
Yeah,
sometimes the children take them and go and play football and all with them.
So we are going to crack down on these kind of things, Cartensia. We are really going to seriously enforce. Yes?
The children part, I'm sure if I was a young child, I might have done that. Boys tend to do them.
Y'all leave the police cones. Caller, go ahead for the officers. This is our last call for the morning.
Good morning, Cadencio.
Hi, Jam
Good
Down.
morning, Quint, and my good friend dear Sergeant.
Yes, morning.
Maguire.
Yes.
Maguire, I'm glad to hear you say that you are going to prosecute these perpetrators. It's long time happening. Long time. I don't know whether they'll be doing that far. But they never catch one of them doing it. All these, you remember, you all to put this call and Wellington, and you were there by Amory. When you got big function.
Yes.
People that willfully put them in the road late at night. Early morning when they coming out to go do me little errand them to make me dollar. I gotta be stopping and putting back the cone them where they got them by the bar. Willful, mashing up the cone them. Officer Goya, I want you to deal with this very seriously because when I see the abuse, I come in. You understand? And you all got to give the support. We got to done with these nonsense with these young people. The next thing is matching up back in the road at night time.
Yeah.
This is jam down here parking. Then I'm back down here. Yeah. When it comes to sinkage, we're going to do the right thing.
During the carnival.
Country.
Yeah, you're correct
Nobody
because.
will come and do up the right here. We got laws govern this country long before I leave my mother womb. And I don't walk in this country. It's long time abusing these things. It's money for this. We gonna pay for these things. Let people who are walk up and down and smoke and drink all kind of damn stupidness. People who walking and putting government money in the government purse got to pay for these things. Have a good morning. This is Jam Dog. I don't watch for you.
Jam down. Listen, he don't care. And he's correct.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's with the breaking of the bottles that could puncture somebody's tire. As a constable would have said, if the tire treads a load, that could cut somebody's foot. It's like people don't care.
During the carnival, we drove. You were there, Bell, when we were patrolling, and these drink that they are drinking now when they have the marijuana.
Good boy.
And you just see the bottles lined at different points. And for what I don't understand, people just actually leave them, line them up in the road.
Yeah. For people
so we have to
them.
stop now and take them out the road.
But what I don't understand, these people that are being so malicious, they don't have anybody driving because it could affect anybody who is driving. You know?
Yeah.
So what if you put those bottles in the road and your mother come down in the vehicle, and then because her vehicle get punctured or she got in an accident, she in the hospital, your conscience gonna bother you.
What if the bottles pop and then pitch back in?
Exactly.
Yeah, because it depends on how you.
How can we be so wicked and not thoughtful of others?
But the energy that you take to do that, it's take less energy to just throw it in the garbage.
You are going to have to wrap up. You're 40 minutes over.
Oh, boy. All right, well, I want to say thanks to the officers for coming in. People stop being malicious. I don't understand. Thank you, gentlemen. See you next week.
Yes.
Adhere to the license rules. A lot of us has to go license. I have to go inspect today. I know I'm good, so I'm not even a bit worried about not being in compliance with the officers. So for those of you that are not in compliance, please be in compliance. You heard Officer Maguire say the time for windscreen is up. That's December 31st. So please do what you have to do.
And we have a meeting with the inspectors at 5 at the police training school this Wednesday.
Oh,
This
okay.
coming Wednesday.
Okay, so please do what you have to do to not get in trouble with Constable Bell or Sergeant McGuire or anybody else that's going to catch you on the road doing something illicit. So thank
We're
you.
different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Rams the good food people always there to serve you. Rams the good food people locations right near you. Rams the good food.
What are you doing?
She said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, she said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, cause when we out and we active living we life. So when we drinking. Root boy. So when we drinking. Root boy. Oh, Miss Lady, anyway you see we are we building up our vibes. So when we drinking. Root boy. So when we drinking. Root boy. Why?
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hosfords.
Rams the good food people always there to serve you. Rams the good food people locations right near you. Rams the good food people in store specials for you. Rams the good food people. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. We want your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
And we are back on Island T, and as we continue along, I saw another headline. This is an international one. It's from BBC, and it says, Trump tell Cuba to make a deal before it's too late. What does he mean by that?
I know if it's one place Trump is going to have problem with in the Caribbean,
It's Cuba.
it's Cuba. So I'm not even going to touch that. Because if they think they, I tell you, this man, he wants to make the Caribbean a complete place of unrest and chaos.
And I know we have students over there from all over the Caribbean and maybe some parts, other
We have
parts
a
of the
caller.
world. Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
Yes, hello, it's me again. Now, the first thing, I ain't kind of fully understand Africa's invitation. Number one, I see any invitation from him on my WhatsApp or anything like that. So this is the first time I'm hearing of that invitation that has been set to a specific date.
Well,
I
know.
Wednesday coming, he said, or if not, the second Wednesday in February, if you can't make Wednesday coming.
I don't think it will be every Wednesday. So I think you need to make that clear to you also. But I know you spoke, me and you spoke, and you said that you had understood there was an invitation because I spoke to it and you said, but maybe, like you said, you're unclear as to the specific day and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So do you have a way of corresponding with him? Send back a text to him and let him tell him to be
No,
clear.
I don't have a number, anything like that. My number is 661-2551.
Okay.
If he ain't get it, of course, he could go on YouTube and play back your whole program and he would hear it.
Repeat your number
Right.
again.
Repeat my number again?
Yeah. So because most
Okay,
likely he might
right.
be listening.
Right, my number is 661-2551. Okay? Maybe he could choose to come on and clear it up because I'm not too sure, like I said. Because I will prepare myself for this Wednesday coming if that is what he means.
Yeah.
February. But maybe you need to come back on a clear it up or WhatsApp me or something like that.
Okay.
But secondly, I would like to say something else. And I'm going to try to be quick in making my point. Number one, God is not beholden to our sinful thinking of him as to what he can and cannot do. He let us know in the Bible what he has done and what he will do. And he is beholden only to himself and not to anybody else as to what he can or cannot do. You read what he can or can't do, you read it in the Bible, not in our fallen, sinful judgment. And also as well, with all due respect, I know we grow up. Well, let me put it this way. Romans chapter 9 says, God loved Jacob and he hated Esau. Romans chapter 9 also says, he chose to be merciful who he chose to be merciful to, and he hardens whom he chose to harden. Now, Malachi also repeats that he loved Jacob, God loved Jacob and hated Esau. Malachi used it on a national basis.
Why did God hate Esau?
Well, in Romans chapter 9, it is using it on an individual basis from time they were in the world. Why God hated Esau? Like all other scriptures, like many other scriptures, including Romans chapter 9, tell you there is a people who God predestined, predetermined to be saved by the blood of Christ and to be in heaven, and there is, and the rest of, and the others, God has chosen not to save them, but to leave them in the sin, and that they would die as a result and perish and go to hell as a result, because God has not chosen to save them.
And so God created them, but he hates them.
So God hates those whom he chose from all eternity, to leave them in their sins, so that when they die, they go to heaven.
So I ask the question again. So God created them, and he hates them.
Well, he loved Esau, he loved Jacob, so he created them, and he loved those whom he predestined to be in heaven, and he hates those whom he has chosen to leave in the sin, so that when they die, they go to heaven.
I love how you tend to skip and stammer and hop when you find yourself in a bit of a predicament. Again, let me repeat the question. So God made Jacob and Esau, but he chose to hate Esau.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So right.
This is why we say that you and your Bible is a whole bunch of nonsense. And this is why we say that you all choose to take man's anger and hatred and place it on God.
Why would you use hate though? Because I didn't think he hated him.
No, that's what Romans 9 says.
Oh my God.
That's what I said. God is not beholden to our sinful judgments and thinking about him. In Romans chapter 9, he clearly says,
it's scriptures like these. It's scriptures like these that the colonialists and the slave masters and white racists use up to today to say God has a people that he has chosen, whether it's because of the kinkiness of the hair or the color of the skin, and he exempt those who have that kinky hair. And this is why you hear when after the flood and Noah, and you hear that Noah had a particular son who was cursed by God, cursed by the Father and then cursed by extension by God for simply seeing his Father in a naked state and commenting about it. This is the nonsense in your Bible. But anyway, to each their own.
But the thing is, God did not curse Ham, and God cursed one of Ham's sons, who was Canaan.
But that is what I'm saying. I am saying that the racist, prejudiced people have used those scriptures to condemn us as a black people from then until now.
But those who are an abuse and misuse of the scriptures, because the scriptures does not use it on a racial basis.
But if you're saying if you're saying that God hates and you qualify it,
right,
and you qualify it, then
no, the Bible qualifies.
That's what I'm saying. If that happens, then who is man to not just come to their own conclusion? You expect, if God does this, you expect better from man?
I expect better from those who God will save, because he predestined them to be saved, and therefore he will bring them to live a Christian life. And they will not be racist, and they will not be murderers, and they will not be living in sin.
But what you're
saying,
saying,
will be living a righteous life.
what you're saying, Greg, is that God has created a certain set of people who he hates, who will never see redemption, who will never go to heaven, but God created them, put them on the earth, and God is going to make sure that they never see any righteousness, justice, any peace. And this is the nonsense you all keep spewing. And this is why, as a young boy in the church, I had to eventually come to my own senses and come away from your nonsense, because then when people accept this thing, this is no wonder why Christians accept anything from the church and from pastors. If you accept this, what else you're not going to accept? This is why the pastor has reached so far as a pastor will tell a female member that he had a vision that he and her should copulate, and she's going to follow it.
Well, that's a misuse again. That's a misuse again, because the Bible lets us know in these
days. But if God can hate, who is man? A mere who is man? We have an excuse then. That is what I'm saying.
No, we don't, because we are all beholden to the Bible. No, we ought to have a righteous hatred.
But if I am,
things.
I'm gonna cut this soon. But if I am one of those who God created and hates and will never see redemption, then I have no course but to be wicked and evil and do wicked and evil things. That is what you're saying.
Right, and that is all you're going to do for your life.
That
God
is what I'm
will
saying.
hold you responsible.
But how are you going to hold me responsible when he created me and put that on me?
Because he will judge you and judgment there for all your actions. And that would not be an excuse.
Does this make any sense to you?
You see, I'm out of it. I keep saying...
You will still be judged for your actions, and you still will be held accountable and judgment then for your evil and wicked actions.
I keep saying...
So I'm a father, right? I have my sons, 3 sons. I tell them, I force them, I beat them to go and rob somebody's place, right? And then they go and rob somebody's place, and then people catch them. And I, the father, come, see the people having them, and I say to the people, crucify them, because they were wrong to do that. But I'm the one who beat them and forced them to do it. That is what you're saying God did, does, you know. This is what you're saying. And for the life of me, I can't understand how people palate this foolishness.
Okay,
as a young boy in church, I listened to how preachers would speak and listen to the nonsense and among a whole lot of other things, and I decided, no, this is, old people say there's sense and pick sense out of nonsense, and I just decided, Quint, no, I have to step away from this.
Quint, let us say you is an author. Let us say you is an author. You're writing a book, okay, a novel. You could have characters doing evil, wicked things, and as the author as well, you could have those characters they have doing evil and wicked things, to pay for the evil and wicked things
But
that
but I
they
am
do.
not
You, as
God.
the author,
But I am
can do
not.
it, you-
But
you
Greg.
practice
But
as you want
Greg.
to.
But Greg, I am not God. I'm a mere human being. So
Yeah, but
people
what
would
I'm saying,
expect
as
that
an
from a
author-
mere. But people would expect that from a mere human being. The example that I just showed you with the Father and the Sons is saying, if God can make a set of people and hate them, and make sure that they're never going to see heaven or peace or whatever, then it is justifying fathers to do these wicked things because they're just mere human beings.
No, it doesn't justify from doing wicked things because
But
God
they
will
have
still
no
judge you, but-
choice. Anyway,
Yeah, God will still judge you.
I'm going to take a bit of a break because
Yeah. But all in all, God has the right to do what He wants, and if you have a right to do with your characters in love with God, even
That
more
is-
so have the right to do with His creatures of His creation.
Yes, okay. So it's like me saying, and here let me put it in another context, right? It's like me saying, because I'm the father, I have the right to have sex with my daughter.
Madness.
Yeah? Because fathers do that
Madness.
nonsense. You understand?
Madness.
I mean, come on, man. Writing a novel is different, because I'm writing about maybe 3 or 4 books right now. But all of them are fiction. You understand? I mean, yeah, but we're talking about an omnipotent creator, God, who says, I'm going to create man and woman, and I'm going to put them here, and I want to see the best of them, but I make a whole nother set over there, and I say, I hate those over there, and I
That's
want to
my
see
thing.
the worst of them.
I don't think God made any of us hoping that we will be.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I don't. But
I
Greg,
think my
but,
God
but-
merciful.
But Greg and them feel, and this is why he keeps. And this is
Well,
what,
I know, not I think. I know He's merciful.
and this is what the slave owners and the KKK and those believe when. Look, could you imagine back in the day that you go to church? White people, this is history, They go to church, and after the church is finished, in a forest not too far from the church, they have about 50 men and women tied up. So they leave the church, having prayed to God, walk through to that forest with those 50 men and women who are tied up. And the people from the church have their picnic basket with their different dainties and whatnot, and they sit around and watch some others go and hang those 50
those
men
people.
as a pastime. This is what the church did, and they said they don't have a soul.
But I don't think these people cannot represent the God that we know, because the God that we know doesn't do stuff like that. I could understand when you're disobedient and He's upset and whatever, but I don't think that's what He sets out to do. That's why He hasn't put in His appearance, because He's hoping that all mankind will come to know Him and be
Look.
saved, so that He can take all of us with Him. He didn't say that
Look.
you're better than me or I'm better than you.
Look,
No
here-
way are we.
Here is what proves that this stupid nonsense theory is wrong. I am a human being. I'm a mere human being. I have flaws. I have outlined on different occasions things I did when I was a young boy. Just now when the police were there and they spoke about children taking up the cones to play football, I said, I know I would
You would
have
have
been
been
one
in
of
that.
those young
Yeah.
boys who would do that. That's what we did as young boys, because we are human. You understand? We're up to mischief, we make flaws. But even me, as a flawed human being, I have some children. They will go contrary. They're grown-ups now. You think everything my children do, I agree? But it's their life, you understand? And I still keep my fingers crossed and hope and wish for the best. And I'm a human being. But you're telling me an omnipotent God who is way more powerful and has self-control that is, I can't even begin to fathom.
Yeah.
And I, as a mere human being who that God made, has more empathy and love in my heart than that God? It doesn't make any sense. It's a matter of convenience. This is why certain people this is why the United States can go and take out Maduro out of Venezuela, but they leave Netanyahu up there slaughtering people. This is what they're doing in the world, because they feel, now, if you go on the internet, you will see how much of the established media who has been silent about a lot of things, how they're talking about Greenland now. And I see news reporters, and I saw one with a particular woman and two men, and she's saying, oh, but my father was so and so, and he will turn in his grave. So now they're passionate, you understand? Now because it's Greenland and it's Caucasian, they don't have to follow the news strictly now, you understand? They can be objective, and they can be. But we know when we go, they say, no, stick with the news, stick with the facts. Don't let your emotions get in play. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
This double standard thing. Man, anyway, I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break. This is why sometimes I let Greg speak, because I want young people to understand the depth of this so-called religion that is supposed to save humanity.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
This Christmas, add postpaid for a festive win-win. We're gifting you a 50-inch smart TV or a $400 Amazon gift card. When you add a Flow postpaid mobile plan to your home internet, you can celebrate the most wonderful time of the year with a big screen or big shopping. Let us upsize your TV or clear your Amazon cart. Either way, you come out on top. Add postpaid to internet today for your festive win-win. Visit discoverflow.co for more info. Terms and conditions apply.
What are you doing?
She said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, she said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, cause when we out and we active living we life. So when we drink, root boy. So when we drink, root boy. Oh, Miss Lady, anyway you see we are we building up our vibes. So when we drink, root boy. So when we drink, root boy. Why?
And we are back on Island T. It's just about 36 minutes after the hour of 9.
And I wanted to speak to something in terms of this Prime Creative Arts Center that recently had a groundbreaking, right? I know that our manager here, she went and she came back and she said it was a good presentation, and we did air it. It aired yesterday from about midday. And I just want to say, if it goes the way it has been planned, I can't say that it is a bad thing. I mean, I have my concerns about it because, as per usual, I always have concern when I see things produced by AI, because it's so easy to produce AI things and make them look so spectacular and that kind of stuff, and maybe the real design would be far from reality. I did comment to a particular individual this morning that I saw from one aspect, I saw it and it was like on a coastline, but then from another angle, from other designs and so forth, I see it's not surrounded or it doesn't have water on any side. So I had to ask that person where it was, and when they reminded me again where it's supposed to be, I know it. If it's there under that hillside, it's not going to be close to the coastline or sea. So again, be mindful when you're creating your AIs that they represent reality. because people like me, we begin to be a bit skeptical, even though the concept is a good concept and it will bring the way how it should go. And I listened to the groundbreaking ceremony and it sounds like a good thing, you understand? But I'm skeptical because in your representation, I see two aspects. I see one of it where the front of it is like it's sloping down to a sea, and then from another angle, I see the whole thing is like in a sort of a rounded half or circle thing, you know, and it's not in any way surrounded by water. So again, especially when you know, to me it's like this. If I know I did something wrong, right, and my mother is aware that I did something wrong, I'm going to be very careful for a period of time so that I get my mother feeling comfortable again before I do something wrong. You understand? Because I know that if I did something wrong 2 days ago and I do something wrong 2 days after, my mother isn't going to have any sympathy. You understand?
Yeah.
But if I can let maybe some weeks go by and she forgets, you know what I mean, and I do a mischief again, you understand? And I do a mischief again, she might forget the one I did 2 months ago. So I say that to say, with all the mistakes our leaders are making that are fresh in our minds, I would think they would be cautious and be very careful to dot their I's and cross their T's whenever they're bringing anything to us. Do not bring anything to us that has any questionable aspects to it. You understand? So this let me see the title of it again. This Prime Creative Arts Center. We know where it's going to be. It's not surrounded by water, or there's no water anywhere. So don't show us any part in your AI that shows us a part of it where it's sloping down to water. You understand?
Okay.
Because then somebody like me is thinking, this is another farce, you know, this might not come true. How many breakings we are seeing. Now we're hoping, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, I said it's a good concept. If it comes true, we have a state-of-the-art place for art, and I heard the Italian individual saying that people who do crafts and so forth, you could go there and actually see them making the stuff before it is presented and that. Yeah, this is good. But I'm saying when I see some questionable aspects, I wonder if, as per usual, you're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. You understand? So please dot your I's and cross your T's when you're coming to us with things. Yeah, you had anything to say?
No, I'm just going with you. I saw a little brown thing, but I didn't see much of the structure. Yeah. So I haven't had the opportunity to see the one that you're speaking of. So maybe when I do see it, I'll understand.
All you have to do is go on YouTube and type in Prime Creative Arts Center, St. Kitts, Nevis, and you'll see it come up. And I want you to look at the one where that has this kind of a arching thing, like, you know, amphitheater kind of thing, and you're going to see one of the pictures where it
you said Prime Creative
Arts Center, St. Kitts.
Okay.
And you're going to see one where it has this picture. I have it right here in front of me, and you can see when it goes in. Let me see here. See this iconic amphitheater.
This is the one I'm seeing, right?
Yeah, you see water there? So that's why I'm wondering what is
But isn't it just rain?
No, you don't see a building there. That's a building, you know, that's the thing that you just showed me across the water is a building.
Yeah, but the kind of but no, this looked like concrete to me when I zoom in on it.
And you see how it's sloping down to water?
No, that's the thing. I don't see that part.
Show me back that one that you just showed me.
That's the only one I have. Look.
Okay. So what is it? So what is in front of where the iconic amphitheater arena? You see those words?
Yeah.
What is that?
You mean in front of the stairs?
Yes. Isn't that water across there?
No, it looks like, you know when rain fall?
Yes.
Yeah, and it looks like they have little rain wets, because this just looks like this the seating here, and then it looks like something that's gonna be open.
So it looks like concrete then?
Concrete. It's
Okay.
concrete with like like when rain fall
Okay,
and make little
okay,
puddles.
so
Yeah.
then,
No
yeah.
sea. Yeah.
Okay, so then, thanks again for that clarification, you understand? Because
Yeah.
that is what had me kind of worried,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's all, and the lights shining on the concrete where the water is and stuff like that.
Okay.
But no, it's not water.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
so I'm glad you showed that, you represented that,
Mhm.
because, yes, I'm seeing it, and I'm looking at this, I've gone further in, and I see the same thing there, that white thing, and yes, it's concrete. It's a
Concrete, right?
whole, but that's a lot of high concrete there. That's a whole lot of high concrete, and it's sloping down to the landscape. Okay, I catch what you're saying.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Go. Let me see what you're looking at right now.
I'm looking at it from a next angle, and you see the concrete goes to the
Yeah,
grass.
I can see the concrete now,
Yeah.
because I'm looking at it from an angle where I'm seeing not just the dome,
Mhm.
but I'm seeing the extended other part of it. Yeah, and it's a whole lot of concrete. Yeah, so you're right. So what I saw there was not sea, but
Concrete.
that has been wet, and because of it is wet, the rain has sort of changed the shading of the color, and I can see like spatters of two slight pools of water on the concrete there.
Yeah, because this is it with they put it with a populace, like people in there now.
Yeah, well, those are the things that I don't really like. I don't like when this is what I'm saying. Show me the plan, because I don't.
Yeah.
Even this one that I'm seeing now, that I've widened it out and I see the concrete thing. I don't believe that this can be the realistic thing either, because this concrete slab, when you're finished and you come over, I'm going to let you see it. It's going to be too much. Just the concrete for this alone, that the whole thing is placed on, is going to be tons and tons of concrete. Hello, caller.
Good morning. You're
Good
live on
morning.
LNT.
Yes, good morning, Cortensia.
Good day. And let me apologize. Let me apologize to you for the last time we spoke. I did something, and like I said, I always check myself, and I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen again. I'm not gonna play from henceforth. I'm not gonna play any clips during when someone calls, because I think it is unfair. Someone calls to make their statement, and I should not use up their time and money to play clips. So my apologies on that.
Okay, for a moment there you had me. I was wondering, what did he do?
Yeah, well, that's the way.
Apologize for what?
Yeah, that's the way I am.
I didn't feel slighted in any bit.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that anymore. You understand what I'm saying, though?
Yes,
Yes.
of course.
Yeah.
But with regards that performing arts center, is it?
Yes.
It's supposed to be located in the Connery Hills, right? Is
Yes.
it? Or somewhere over there. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I had to seek clarification again this morning to be sure, because, like I said, I thought that had seen something where it was water, but I have been.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen the picture that you referred to, but maybe what they did was essentially take a shot of it with the bayfront in the background. I don't know if that's what it is.
I don't.
Certainly can't be shoreline anything.
No, it can't be, because not in the Connery area. But I concur with what Hortensia has said. She being younger and having better eyes, she was able to discern that it wasn't water, it was concrete. Kind of like,
okay.
you know when water gets wet and in the early morning it has a kind of a glossy look?
Yes.
That is
Okay.
what had me there,
Oh,
because
okay.
you actually
Alright.
see water on it. So that is what has me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's a good. It sounds like a good project.
Yeah,
how
sounds
you
like a
describe
good
it.
project. Yeah.
Of course, there's always some skepticism because, as you pointed out, lots of groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And then everything is a snail pace after that.
Yeah.
And even more concerning is the fact that we have some white elephants around the place
Yeah.
that you'd think that they'd be concentrating on
Mm-hmm.
to get going because they look terrible.
Mm-hmm.
and they can be a source of income, economic activity, and so
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
You know, they're just there doing nothing.
Mhm.
And even some of them that are open, like for instance the Eco Park, I don't think it has lived up to expectations. For one thing, it's well located, close to the main road and so on, and it's a nice facility. It's just too bad that we couldn't make something better of it, you know.
Yeah.
And I hope that is not the way that this performing arts center is going to go, because it's off the road. It's all well and good to have people showing off how they make their products, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But you know, you have to be able to attract people there in the first place. And
Yeah.
off
And,
the
and,
road.
and another thing too is that what crossed my mind is that these are the kind of ventures, if they come to fruition, that we want to see. You see, this isn't some whole big acres of land space. This is
Right.
this is what we want to see: a development that is good, that has potential to bring money, to advance our arts and culture and that kind of stuff. And it doesn't exclude us from being a part of it. It doesn't come with any individuals having certain kind of rights and deciding when you can come and when you and so forth. So this
They
is
don't know how it was funded? Did they
it's
indicate how it was funded?
these the individual who seems to me maybe the CEO of it, he said that they did some buildings in the Half Moon area, right?
Oh, yeah.
It
Over
seems
there,
as if the Prime is part of their name brand.
Mm.
Yeah. So
But what's the source of funding? Is it CBI? Is it
well,
personal-
yes,
personal
yes.
funds?
Well, here is what I'm gathering. These are citizens by investment. These because they seem to be
It
citizens.
says it will be primarily funded through the public benefit option, that's the BPO of the Citizen by Investment Program, where international investors contribute a minimum of 250,000 USD to approve national development projects in exchange for citizenship.
Yeah, that is what that.
No, that itself should be a bit concerning, because I
That-
doubt they would have gotten the citizens all the money from the CBI that would be needed to complete the project, and as such, it would probably be just limping along like so many
That's
others.
what-
That's
that is-
the problem.
that-
Look at the Basti High School, which I guess
Yes.
is
So this is why I'm glad you asked that question, because when I listen to the individual, what the individual is saying, they are citizens because they got their citizenship by the same citizenship by investment thing. And now that they are citizens, they will be contributing. But your question is, how much will they contribute and to
Right.
what
How
extent?
they intend to contribute.
Yes.
Is it by getting more citizenships and the money from that used to build it?
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess all of that would come out in the wash at some point or the other.
But don't you think, again, that all of this, a good amount of this should have come out before? Because he said they bought this about maybe
Yeah,
a
we've been
long
hearing
time
about it
ago.
forever.
Either
Yeah.
6 or so years or so ago, or 12 years, between
Yes,
6 or 12
yes.
years, a long time ago they
We've
bought
been
this
hearing
thing.
about it for quite some time.
Yeah.
Yes. Right, and bearing in mind past experience with these white elephants around
Yes,
the place,
yeah.
you know, it would be nice to know that the funding is secured in advance, but I guess it's difficult to go that route.
So with this center, would they move all the persons from Port Zante that are craft vendors to this center?
Well, we don't know. We can only assume. I don't. But another thing.
No way.
Another.
Our citizens should have first bite at the cherry.
Yes, most
You can't tell
definitely.
me they're going to come in at Port Zante and they have to go all the way up there. No.
No, because for the fact that we said things are going to be made and people are going to see them, that's why I was trying to find out if that's what it is, or if it would just be for dancing, for music, etc.
No, they're going to have craft there. But you see, this is the vagueness of when people come with certain things and we don't know all of the ramifications of it. So we're asking the questions. You understand?
That idea is not bad. Really,
No, like I said,
where the people,
it's a good
where,
idea.
Where tourists and so on, and local people too, can go and see actually the craft actually being made.
Yeah.
In a sense, the craft house is there. Caribel Batik does it and has made a success of it. So there's no reason why perhaps it can't be. But you see, those are right on the very accessible. You know.
Yeah, but here's something else. Here's something else too, and that is that the individual said, he said, well, we are not intending just to ground break. We are ready to go. So to your question as to whether it will be a white elephant, let's wait and see, because if we follow by his words, it's ready to go full speed ahead. But we heard, remember with the stevia, we heard a certain Chinese individual say, I have the seeds ready.
Well, if it's the same people as Imperial Bay, I think.
Yes.
Condominiums. Well, at least they have a track record. They have delivered at least that. Over what time is another question. But
yeah.
We'll see how that goes in light of the fact that we don't know the direction how CBI is going, to be quite honest.
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to switch to.
Well, let me finish this then. I'm concerned about this CBI because it seems to me, even though our leader says we were depending on it too much, he seems hell-bent to find any aspect to cling on to it.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems when we look at the horizon, all we see any potential in anything, even the SSD over there, it's all leaning on CBI. Yeah, so that's
it
what
seems like a contradiction, really.
Because what else do we have? What else can we depend on?
But this is as an example. This thing that they're putting there, what we're saying, and hotels and Caribel Batiks and other things, what we're saying, we want you to attract investors who will put down things that pushes us into posterity with different things that can make money.
Right, bringing income.
Yes, that's what we're saying. Stop putting too much on this citizenship thing, because we only have so much people and mass, and look at this thing now where you're threatening to bring back 10,000 people in Little Nevis and that kind of stuff, who you propose to be citizens or want to be citizens, who will create a conflict for us, the indigenous people. So we have these questions, and we're saying to the government of the Caribbean, get investment like you used to do in the old days. You understand? Like when you look and you see the Paul Southwell thing and those kind of things, and industry and hotels and different things, but investment that brings people and brings money.
Yes, bring in foreign currency.
Yes.
And so on. Yes.
That's what we want.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
I would think, though, like I said, it constantly we have a lot of startups. We have Ramada. We have that thing there going over at Frigate Bay on the right-hand side, Pirates Cove area, that kind of thing. We have over in Potato Bay, forgot what chain was supposed to develop that thing, but they become ISOs. They're just there doing nothing.
Sometimes to me, Mr. McMahon, it seems as if, though, that some of these people who come and they say their potential development, it seems to me what they want to do is to holding on to some land and then let it go onward, and then however they're going to use it. For instance, let's look at that thing where DJ Mauritia was speaking about, where they even want to cut off your beach access. So they come, they get certain properties within a proximity of beach and roads and that kind of stuff. They cease developing it, but yet still they hold on to it because their intent is to make sure they hold on not only to that, but surrounding properties, and it is being allowed to happen. and we need to stop this.
It might be land speculation or
Yes,
easy sale.
that is what it is.
Because to be quite honest, I am suspicious of any person or group of people who just build stuff and just leave it there.
Yeah.
Doing nothing. It seems as if it's basically some motive behind it, maybe tax evasion or money laundering or something like that.
Something,
Who just build stuff and leave it there to rot?
And we know, you and I are very au fait with things where in the established and developed world, you hear people saying, well, they have investment here, there, and there on different islands. But when you go to these places, it's just like you said, just a piece of land with some little thing on it. But it's not this business. Internationally, it's this big business name, eh? And you would think that you would think when you go there, you would see this place where people are going and coming and doing commerce. And no, all you see just...
I mean, it does have value to it. So
yes.
But in terms of going concerns, I mean, having income generating capacities and those things, it's nothing. Right? I would have thought it's easier to get somebody to come in and make a good going concern out of these things that are there doing nothing.
Yeah.
As opposed to getting some kind of fresh investment. But
let me show
I don't know.
Let me show you an example. Recently, I was following a particular case where some people in a part of the world, older people who had worked their lives and had, they were fairly wealthy people, had good amount of monies, and they invested it in a particular endeavor. That endeavor belonged to a particular corporation. That corporation had an extension of that corporation in another country, that had an extension of that corporation in another country, that had an extension in another country. And after all the extensions, it led to a place in the Caribbean, where the manager of that place in the Caribbean was a black individual with his wife, and he was a law firm that was dealing with all of these extensions where the money was going to.
I guess they call them subsidiaries.
Yes, and the monies that was coming from these extensions to him was supposed to be going to a particular place. Let's say, use one of those places here in St. Kitts that exists, that you spoke about, right? So when these people found out after certain times, when they reach a certain, things are supposed to mature, right? And you're supposed to get X amount of monies.
Right.
So when these things are supposed to mature and you're supposed to get X amount of monies, they found that over an extended period, people were being given bits and pieces and excuses and so forth. So there was an investigation, and they started to find all these extensions that led to the one black man and his wife in the Caribbean. And when they went to him and they asked him to show where the money was being invested, he took them to a place that was like that land that you spoke about, right? It didn't have any business or anything on it. So now they understand that this was fraud, right?
Right.
Okay, so this is what happens.
That's the thing, I suppose, the Financial Intelligence Unit, I think, is supposed to prevent, those kinds of things. And it could be a real network that is difficult to comprehend.
Yes, that is why they have all these extensions.
Yeah, those need experts to be able to...
And you understand the resources it's going to take. You understand this is why certain people give up, because by the time they hit the fifth extension, you have exhausted your monies.
Yes. There's a lot outside there in the financial world, that in the real estate world, that we don't understand.
Yeah.
But people game the system.
Yeah.
And I would expect that is definitely something that calls for some kind of regulation, whether from the ECCB or government units. That's in my opinion, Greg is the worst advocate for what he's advocating.
You understand?
I mean,
look at that analogy. You
the
can't,
contradictions that
you
that
can't
he
make
brings.
this stuff up.
Yeah, I mean, what you said there, I mean, well, that was so obvious. It didn't make any sense. And this thing about righteous hatred, I mean, could you imagine righteous hatred?
But that is what they used on us for 400 years.
Man. But anyway, that's, and that's why I agree. Carten's here. You still there?
Yeah, listening to you.
Yeah, oh, hi.
Shaking my head.
Yeah. You're going to shake it some more now. I agree with you about not getting involved in religion. It's a matter of faith, right? You believe what you want to believe.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right? I don't agree with you, the politics part of it. Because you see, politics, whether you like it or not,
It affects us,
affects
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I get-
You might stay out of it. You might want to stay out of it because you
But
don't
Mr.
like
McMahon, religion too, you know, because if you dig deep enough into religion, politics, sorry, you will find it is an extension. Remember we were speaking about the extensions? It is an extension of the politics, because check how the people are. For instance, let's look at Trump. His biggest base is in the church. I recently saw this preacher who was saying he's on the pulpit and the Holy Ghost has taken him over, and he's saying, yes, and the Lord has said he wants Venezuela's oil. And I'm saying to myself,
Listen, Quinn, just, I mean, this is first term, eh? First year. This only is first year. I suspect by the end of the year, they'll be making a case of why we should return to slavery.
I don't disagree with you.
This is a dangerous
part we're heading on.
And
And you see, when I asked the question long ago, when people were saying, "Oh, with Maduro is a bad person," and I asked the
we
question.
always eat up things like that. That's
Yeah.
the thing. You know, nobody questions anything. We always eat up things like
Yeah,
that.
and
Look how easy it is for the world to accept a recolonization of a country.
And
as simple as
listen,
easy as that. No
Mr.
one would have thought in 2026 that would be impossible.
Mr. McMahon, listen to all of the people all around the world, in Britain, you know, all of them. Here's what they say. You know, Trump did an illegal act. Mind you, we don't have any concern about Maduro. He was an evil man. He's a dictator. He didn't give the people the right chance to vote. But none of them are speaking about Netanyahu. Has as bad as you say Mr. Maduro is, has he been a part of the genocide of thousands and thousands and thousands of people? But
Which
look
is
at
continuing. Just
you
yesterday
understand?
I heard the BBC saying, since this so-called ceasefire, over nearly 500 Palestinians have been killed.
Yes, it's ongoing. It's not going to stop.
Because Israeli attacks continue.
Yeah.
But, you know, it has subsided. It is not the numbers that used to be before the ceasefire. But it is continuing. In other words, the injustice is continuing.
Yeah.
And if you continue to have injustice, what do you expect to happen? War is always going to follow injustice.
Yeah.
It inevitably follows injustice.
So what now? So what now if China decides they want to annex what's that place? Taiwan. So what now if?
That's why they're not making so much noise about it.
Yeah. So what now if Putin decides he wants back that place with Zelensky, which is part of the Russian territory? I mean, you understand how they've let open out a can of worms and they don't seem to care?
Yeah, you know, that's the frightening thing about it, how easy it is to just slide backwards, you know, when we thought we were making progress in terms of human interactions and the relations between nations
and what
the UN Charter, you know, non-interference in the internal affairs of countries, and you're not supposed to, there's international law that does not allow to just take over somebody's country and those kinds of things. We're really going back to the law of jungle.
I heard someone from Congress say that what Trump has done is illegal in terms of the way how he used the American military to hear what the person said. It is he didn't use Congress to do that, to go down there and do what he did. But he goes on to say, but I don't see a problem with, there was a warrant out for Maduro, so I don't see us having any problem with him because you understand what they're
It
saying?
certainly wasn't Interpol.
Yeah.
You know, so you could trump up anything.
Yeah.
Any kind of charge to use upon.
Yeah.
And just follow through as regard that as your legal authority to do.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's just strange. And our what you started off with this morning, I think with the deportees coming here.
Yes.
You know what? You know what's wrong about this? Not that we have a choice. That it's obvious that we were being pressured.
Yes,
Okay?
it's obvious.
Strangely enough, I listened to one of the Congress people up there saying, the U.S. is not a bully, so we're not going to march into Greenland. Imagine that. Not Greenland, somewhere else, you know.
Yeah.
Imagine. But anyway, what's wrong about this, I think, is the way that they went about it. We have the leaders, and I heard the St. Lucia Prime Minister, now with the same spin of, well, it's just a memorandum of understanding, and we are negotiating, etc. I dare any one of them to say that they approached, our government included, that they approached the U.S. first about bringing deportees here.
Yeah.
So don't make it sound as if you're being proactive and you were being pressured.
Yeah.
Okay? Right? And to me, what should have happened from the time it first started with, whichever one it started with, okay, whichever one they went to first, they should have convened a meeting of all the OECS countries.
Yes, that is what they should have
hold
done.
one head as to this thing.
Yes.
Right? And if the U.S. wants to negotiate, say, well, we have this authority, we've appointed such and such, we are going to, this is our position on this. Okay? Even if the U.S. insists, all of them should hold one head and say, this is going to be my position, which is consistent with the others.
That's it.
That they met. That is what they should have done.
That's it.
Not we over here saying, oh, we did this because look at what happened to Antigua and Dominica. That kind of gloating way. That's nonsense.
Nonsense.
That is not what the OECS was there for, to be doing. If it's either we swim together or drown separate. Drown separately or
Yeah,
swim together.
that is what we're doing.
Right? That is what we should have done. So that is the mistake I think we made. Not that we would have had a choice, but that at least we would have a collective way of handling this thing. Instead of this individual thing. That's nonsense.
There's an old saying that nothing is truly evident unless it is tested, and that is true. So if you have a democracy cannot exist unless you prove that it exists. And you prove that it exists by testing it. And you test it by doing just what Mr. McMahon says. We are a democratic region, we are sovereign countries, we reserve the right to say no to this. Then let's see how you deal and let the world see what democracy really is. But they don't do that. They capitulate, individually. And then our leader comes to us and says, 3 months after the Antiguan one said they sign off on it, he comes and says, I have a memorandum of understanding. I signed the memorandum of understanding 3 months after.
I don't know what these people are thinking. We know, all of us know, that we cannot stand up to the might of America. They are going to get their way one way or the other. But that does not mean that we can't be principled in our approach to things, okay? And say, because they're using the standard divide and rule practice.
The standard
it's not like
divide.
It's something new. It's been old. It's been tried and
old.
tested.
400.
And we above all others should know how that works. We were
Yeah.
colonists.
That's it.
But our leaders, I don't know. It's like they have selective amnesia or something. They don't realize that this is going back to the bad old days.
You
And
know
so
what?
must
You
have
know what?
some kind of response to it.
There's another caller. Hello, caller.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, good morning to you guys, man.
Yeah, before you make your statement, you know what? You know what is interesting? And I'm going to say this because I like to play my card, put my cards on the table. Mr. McMahon and Burl and Cortensia and who's ever listening, it seems to me, I could be wrong, but it seems to me if there's any hope for the region right now, it's going to come from the Latin American countries because it seems as if though they're kind of agitating, and let's see where that goes.
The Latin American countries.
Yeah.
Again, the problem with that is that the governance, some of them pretty much pander to
Some of them. But what I'm saying is we're seeing and hearing enough of them, and even one of them who is, it has been purported is a supposed to be pally with the U.S. He's making his statement, and they're saying that they're going to unify. So I'm saying, I'm putting my cards on the table. I'm saying I could be wrong because that's what life is about, making assessments and saying, well, okay, it could go this way or that way. So I could be wrong. But if there's any hope for the region, that is what I'm saying. If there's any hope for the region right now, it seems as it will come
realize
from
though
the
that even if all of them were united, right, they still would not be able to stand up to
But we're not speaking about military. But hear this, Mr. McMahon. We're not speaking about military might. We're speaking about if all of them, even if, let's use a hypothetical, all of them were united and we jump on the bandwagon. Remember, we're speaking about a different world, a different
world order,
geographical, multipolar world now, where you're gonna stop doing all your business during the U.S. dollar. This is how we're gonna be able to get somewhere.
But that's gonna have to happen over a period of time.
Well, that's the only way it's gonna happen.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Not only that, it has to work with what we said, work with your mouth shut.
But that's what I'm saying. Well, let's be realistic, Mr. McMahon. We can't do this overnight.
No, this ain't gonna come.
No.
It's not gonna be easy. And what we should be doing, the other mistakes I think the leaders in the region have been making, is they're not preparing the people for what is to come.
Yeah.
You see, because you see how, for instance, they just get us straight with this visa to America thing.
That's it.
Right? It's the same thing with other with products like, let's say, even the phones.
Yeah.
If you listen, I don't know about you. I don't have the latest Apple phone or Samsung phone.
I had one Apple phone.
But I have one that works and does quite a bit.
Look,
and
I hate Apple
There's
products.
no reason to have the most modern version of a phone.
I see
Because
some phones, right?
Basically,
I'm
there's
going, Burl, we're
minor
gonna,
improvements that they make.
Burl, we're gonna let you come in right now. Mr. McMahon, I see some phones, right, and I see figures like $4,000, and I just turn my head the other way because I'm not going to spend no $3,000, $4,000 on no phone.
You got to tell your people
I had
that
an
it
Apple.
don't make sense.
I had an iPhone years ago. My oldest son gave it to me, and I hated that phone. You understand? And I decided not me and any Apple products. You understand? Yeah. So,
No, but
Burl, you may come in now. Sorry, apologies, but you know how it goes sometimes. Burl, you're falling asleep?
Yeah, Quinn, I'm here.
Yeah.
Quinn, I'm still here.
I'm listening. We're listening.
Okay, sorry about that interruption there. We're talking about like democracy, right? It's a good thing you mentioned that, right? We got to be careful with our democracy in the region being eroded. You know, small islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, because you know Brantley tutored the words all the time. We have a robust democracy, and concerning that Destiny project, this man is forging ahead against the voices of the people. That is very dictatorial.
No, we expected that. What the old, you know, the
No,
old
and
saying, a drowning individual does what?
try to grab any straw or something like that.
Yeah. And
And
sad to say, this is what our leaders are doing. Let's be realistic.
yeah,
Look, a Caribbean people, we're not going to survive unless we wake up and be realistic, you know. This is what our leaders
Well,
are doing.
if I may say something,
yeah,
though,
undoubtedly, man.
you realize that what has happened to Antigua and Dominica may be a blessing in disguise when you look at it, because what's going to happen is going to start to limit the amount of foreign exchange that go out
Yes.
of their countries.
Yeah.
So you could look at it as a blessing in disguise. Yes, the people don't like it because, of course, everybody wants the freedom to travel wherever they want.
But Mr. McMahon.
Why just the United States, I don't know. But yeah.
But Mr. McMahon, I agree with you, but this will only happen if the people are looking long term. The question
Right.
is, are they looking
and
long term?
that's what I'm saying. The leadership should. That's the other thing they should be doing. Apart from uniting and speaking with a common voice, they should be preparing the people how to accept, how to survive in this new world order. And one of the things that they have to do is limit their consumption.
Yeah.
You don't live in the United States. Why should you have the United States states?
That's it.
You know.
Go ahead, bro.
But
Sorry
Quint,
about that.
Yeah, Quint. I believe personally, man, we had America just where we want them. America is desperate to hold on to power. We just had to unite and speak with one voice. You know what I mean?
Part of what they're proposing, the United States, is that our region exempt any ties with China and Russia and those kind of stuff. That's what they're proposing. And if our leaders hold on to that, accept that, then we're back 400 years. We're back in servitude again.
Exactly, and look at Antigua. Gaston Brown also says he's cutting ties with Cuba with that healthcare and those doctors and nurses situation with what America was demanded like some time back. It's a part. These leaders in the Caribbean, they just bowed out to America just like that, less than a week. Man, the dominoes was falling like rapidly, and they're speaking individual voices. These islands, they're speaking individual. And last week when we was talking about the Prime Minister picking up the chairmanship of CARICOM, look at what he went and did at the ground table. He exempt Haiti.
Yeah. Imagine that.
You know, and on top of that,
But bro, what if all of them has Haiti as an exception, but he was the only brave one to say it? Because remember, he says he cannot come out and say anything as the chairman. It has to be something that is collective, because CARICOM is a collective voice.
He was the brave one to do it.
We know
say
America
that he's not taking anybody from Haiti. Maybe all of them are not taking anybody from Haiti.
It is likely that is the way.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't give him the term brave to do that. He had no other choice.
But the rest not saying that. Do you realize that?
Yeah, but he has no choice.
On the flip side, though, I might even just make a statement. We're speaking individually, but America is not coming after them individually, really. You know, they're coming after all of us collectively, and they're coming after those islands that got the CBI. And remember, those CBI islands. Didn't they sign a pact among themselves to do things collectively? And then they want to now try to look like they're talking individually. Man, America is targeting everybody. There is no exception. You see, they're going after the islands that has the CBI program. And they now find a way to tie that in with these visas. If you don't take our demands, we're going to restrict you out from coming to our country. But me personally, again, America, they messed up big time.
But St. Vincent doesn't have CBI
yet.
Burrow?
Over the years, they should have maintained the relationship. Huh?
St. Vincent doesn't have CBI yet, and
I know that.
It seemed like they've approached St. Vincent too. They have approached them too.
All the ones that has it, they signed. They said they had an agreement collectively. But what I'm saying is, even when St. Vincent come on board, if they do, they're going to be a part of the collective. And what I'm going to say lastly, America messed up over the years. They didn't maintain the relationship with the region. If they want so much to have dominance of this hemisphere, they should have maintained the relationship with us, look out for us, invest in us, help us out. And once you're helping out, you're like my friend to me. I mean, you can't not be helping me out and then now coming back around, trying to recolonize me, trying to reassert that new doctrine, trying to exert your power on me. Man, we should have stand up against America. We're not going to have another time, no time soon, to stand up to America like we had now. It's a missed opportunity, and we're going to pay. I'll leave it there, man. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good day.
You too.
But you know, Quinn.
Yeah.
I grew up. I grew up when we were a colony, and I remember we couldn't import American cars until late down.
Yeah.
Right? We had to get our products from our cars and so on from England.
Yeah.
Right? Now they're doing the same thing with Venezuela.
Yeah.
We can control your money, and you cannot buy anybody's products for your oil industry unless it's ours, unless it's from the United States. Could you imagine that?
And we saw that way back when Ms. Prasad said that. Let me see my train of thought there. When to do with the oil and so forth.
Dragon project.
Yeah, when I lost my chain of thought there. There was something in my mind, but I've lost it.
Well, the fact is, right? It's recolonization, right? And strangely enough, the United States didn't really have colonies as such, okay? But they always had imperialistic intentions. I remember, for instance, when Japan wasn't trading with them. I think it was some Admiral Perry or somebody marched into Japan, the Navy, went into Japan and said he thinks it would be a good idea if we develop trading relations.
Yeah.
You know?
And they did the same to, don't forget, they did the same to China, you know. When you go back and you revisit, when you revisit the Opium Wars, that is what they were trying to do. And they went, and remember, they colonized China, you know. People forget this. China was a colony.
You know, it's just reversing history. It's
And
reversal of history.
now they have the audacity, because China, see how China survived. They colonized China. They use socialism to their benefit, right? And they thought that China was going to be subservient to them indefinitely. Back in those days, everything was made in Taiwan, everything was made in China, and so forth. But because of the socialist construct of China, that is why they were able to survive. And they gradually developed themselves internally and their power structure, their arms and that kind of stuff. And then they started to use the very same thing that was used against them around the world. And America,
in a sense, Japan did the same thing.
Yes.
I mean, they essentially, although they were defeated in the World War, after that, they used American technology, American investment, and so on to pull themselves right back up.
There was even a point, to strengthen your point, when Japanese had this commercial that said, we may not have invented it, but we can make it better. You remember that?
Yeah. Right. Japan Incorporated.
Yeah. So Japan and China realized what was being done to them, and they exploited it, and look at them today. But we, the people who were more suppressed than anyone else in the Caribbean and in Africa, we still didn't wake up and understand. And you know, again, just like how I use the Latin America to say if we're going to be safe, it's going to be them. Again, China and Japan and those are the ones who will save Africa if Africa is smart enough. Because look what China did. You think all those development that China was doing and saying, well, we'll give you these monies and you don't have to pay us back in this and doing all that investment. It was to divert monies away and allies away from the U.S., you know. And then the U.S.
But not only that, remember, China is carrying a hell of a lot of the U.S. debt, you know. If China pull their bonds and recall the debts and so on to that the U.S. have, it can have a
collapse
huge
the
impact on the
American economy. So
that
that is
and that is why I think Trump, you know, I think in some cases, in some instances, we underestimate Trump. You know, Trump realized that the U.S. was a dying empire.
Yes.
And he's doing his utmost to reverse things.
But he's doing it the wrong way. I agree with you. A lot of times.
They're saying there's no wrong way about this. The world has always been about power.
That
you
is
have
true.
The power, you use it.
But here is,
and that's the difference between him and other presidents.
But
he doesn't have any qualms about using U.S. power.
But here is where he's making the mistake. I agree. The world understands that power has ruled. But that thing that they used for 400 years and the colonization of people, it's not going to work now because people know, because of the geopolitics of today, that is the difference.
Yeah, people, nobody in the right mind, no country in the right mind, are going to want to go back to being a colony.
No,
not one.
Look at what Canada is doing now, and Australia and so forth. They were supposed to be big allies of the U.S. You see now they're either trying to join with the EU or you're hearing speculation that they might join BRICS. Why you think? Because everybody now is going to reshuffle because they see what the major superpower is doing. Leave them high and dry and look out for itself. That's the world we live in.
There's no way with that the U.S. isolationist policy can work.
It cannot.
Because much of the manufacturing has gone offshore, right?
Yeah.
So they depend on other countries to make the stuff. And even overall for this year, manufacturing in the United States have been down.
Yeah.
Trump wants to bring it back. But it's not a simple thing.
No.
It is not easy to do that.
And you see, this is my last point before I have to finish because Cartense has to leave too. We're way over time. Cartense, if you want to leave, you can leave. Right?
No, I'm fine.
What I'm saying is this, to strengthen your point, Mr. McMahon, in terms of American commerce being all over the place and that kind of stuff, is that look what America did. Let's go back to the 2% of the world that has all the wealth. Because of this 1 and 2% who have all the wealth, that is why America is in where it's in today. Because the 1 and the 2%, when America had a thriving middle class, and people could buy their homes and have their televisions, and you remember those days, Mr. McMahon?
Yeah, the American Dream thing, the
Yeah.
white picket house with the white picket fence.
They outsourced it.
2.5 kids and all
That's
those
it.
things.
Yeah,
that's gone out the window.
All of the big businesses decided to outsource to cheaper labor, take the money out of their own people's mouth, and send it all over the world.
Well, but Quint, gotta be careful with that. If you look at what our industrial park did, CAP industrial park did, right? They brought in American companies and re-exported whatever they exported, got the money, right? Paid, we benefited in terms of the payment of salaries and so on. But you know what we did with our money? We go right back to the States. I mean, I know, for instance, when I was building my house, everybody was doing the same thing. Going to the States or Puerto Rico, bringing back containers of stuff, furnishing your house with stuff from up there. That was the thing to do.
Yeah,
so
I
the money
agree.
went right back out.
I agree, but here's what I'm saying, Mr. McMahon. I'm saying when they did that, we benefited from it. But when they did that, here's the mistake. They further compounded it, because after sending it to, let's say, saying it's a Nevis, Remember, we had a lot of factories doing all kind of different things. Then they weren't comfortable with that, because back in the U.S. when they had their thriving middle class, the salary for those people was good, and they sent it out because they wanted to make more money and pay the people producing less. So they gave it to us. Then after they decided they're going to take it from us and send it to Latin American countries, which is even cheaper.
Yeah.
So that is where it moved from us, and that's why we don't have some. So you understand, they're just thinking about themselves, and they're still. Where you think you can have somebody like Elon Musk with all that money?
Yeah, they have to watch how they redistribute income. The top 1% and 2%.
Yeah, it can't work.
It's crazy.
And that is what China know.
What is
China
What's going to be the first trillionaire or something like that?
Yeah.
What can a man do with $1 trillion?
Look, just help to keep the world oppressed and going the way you want it to go. That's what they want. They make the decisions of how the world order goes. But China and Japan and certain other places, Russia included, they decided no. So the United States wake up, as you said, and Trump realized they're heading down a dark road. But what he should have done, what the U.S., not him, because I don't give him credit for that, what the U.S. and Europe should have done long ago, after they realized they had amassed this amount of wealth, they should have been considerate enough to say, okay, here's what we're going to do now. Go to Africa and say, we want to do a business with you on a even more even level, where we get your product and we pay you for it. But that's where they made the mistake. They still expect to get it cheap or for next to nothing.
Cheap, next to nothing.
Yeah. And the rest of the world is waking up and saying, well, wait, no.
Yeah.
So that is the mistake they made.
No country in 2026 is going to want to willingly go back to being a colony.
No.
I don't care
No.
how dictatorial their leadership and so on is. They would rise up eventually they'd rise up internally again, just like what's happening
Yes,
in Iran now.
and it's going to
Against
be
that kind of
worse now, though,
dictatorship.
you know. It's going to be
Right.
worse now. So
But
if you
people are woke now. I don't think.
If you think you're going to put people in the way that you did them time ago, no, guns around now, guerrilla warfare on a certain level. I mean, come on.
Careful, Quinn.
No, but I'm just saying the facts.
That would raise a red flag.
Yeah, but I'm speaking to the facts of how the world is. So you're just going to come and bring your hegemonic thing and just think that we're just going to stand and take it? That is what Malcolm X meant when he said, by the what? By the Bible, by the bullet, by the ballot, or the gun. They didn't like to hear it, but that is what he meant. By any means necessary. So, well,
and that is what this MAGA movement is about, going back there, and nobody's going to go back there. They do better to concentrate on making sure that the middle class not struggling like it, in America is not struggling like it is, and there are lots of money in the United States. It's just that it's concentrated in very few hands.
Yeah.
They should do more about, but that's controversial as well. You remember when Obama said, share the wealth?
Yeah.
Well, they took him to task.
But Obama is one of the first leaders, if not the first in the developed world, who actually said that there was a 1% that had all the wealth. He actually said it. You can find it on tape when he said it.
But for a while, I think the ordinary American, bought into this thing that was necessary for the United States to have the kind of standard of living that it has.
But they're still pushing it. They're still pushing it. If you follow the Republicans, the Republicans still feel their theory, the trickle-down theory,
trickle down.
Yeah, give all the wealth up there, and it's gonna
all boats and the trickle down
Yeah.
thing. But it's ingrained in their psyche that you got to have these very rich people. I don't know why. I can't see somebody with $1 billion being poor if half of that came out in taxes?
That's
Huh?
it.
He have 500 million.
Yeah. But they just want, and they're showing it, extend that to the way they want the world to go. Just the same way how they want all that wealth to compound wealth, and they can just live off of their taxes, But no, they still want everything free. It's not going to work. Not in this day and age.
It's not going to work.
No.
And Quinn, I know you have to go now, but the last thing I want to say, the third thing, I mentioned the fact that we should have been a unified approach, a collective approach dealing with the U.S.
Yeah.
And we should have been preparing our people for whatever sacrifices they might have to be.
Yeah.
And the last thing I think is that we should be doing better in terms of our governance.
Yeah,
we
I
haven't
agree.
got our governance right.
Yeah.
There's still this talk of corruption and the kinds of governance system that is in conflict with.
You see when the U.S. find it convenient, they will use that against us too, because you see they've been trying to incriminate some of our leaders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You see them doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that is something we can control, right? Our governance systems.
Yeah.
Right? Don't just follow this, and it all ties into the religion and politics thing.
Yeah.
Right? Where there are quite a large number of people who just follow whatever lead one party or the other, one government or the other thing, instead of holding them accountable.
Yeah.
Right? We have to learn to manage our democracy.
Yeah.
Don't stop this kowtowing and hero worship and party loyalty thing. That is enslavement also.
Yes, it is.
Okay? You got to think for yourself and make the correct decisions and make the correct choices. And our leaders have to take governance seriously instead of trying using it just to maintain themselves in power. That is not what it should be about. It should be about empowering the people generally, and in doing so you empower the whole country.
Yeah.
You make us you unify the country, because once you have things done on merit, people understand merit, okay, instead of people trying to bribe their governments or get favors from governments and so on. That which causes problems with other quarters that don't have access.
And I'm glad you made that point too, because it brings us back to our governments in the Caribbean have got to find a way of relieving themselves of carrying the main financial burden of all of these Caribbean islands. This is why we need true, genuine investors.
Right. And a thriving small business sector and those kinds of things. Diversify the employment, and government has no call employing over a third of
our country.
The workforce. Ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Right? And they're not looking at changing it, because for them, it gives them more power.
That's it.
Yeah, they don't have a choice.
They have a choice.
No, they have a choice.
Where they gonna put them?
Just what we just said.
Yeah, but they don't have that,
business.
so they don't have a choice at this moment.
They don't have a choice because they weren't working for a choice.
So they had to bear the brunt of the burden. That's why.
Well, we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. I mean, what I find exciting about this whole thing is that so many people now have woken up to the fact that geopolitics, international politics, regional politics have an impact, a real impact on their lives.
Yeah.
And are talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is a good thing. I agree with you.
That's a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to go.
Because
long
ago.
It's not going to change anytime soon, because you can see how step by step the world is changing.
Yeah.
So we have to adjust as well.
We have to adjust. And to Mr. McMahon, not too long ago, you see how me and you can sit down here and we can speak. once ago, a lot of people wouldn't have understood much of what we're saying, but now
Right.
people can understand what we're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're seeing the real
Yeah.
time implications of what other people's policies,
Yeah.
our own policies,
How it
can do.
affects us. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that generally it's a wake-up call for a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? Who's been sitting pretty much in a bubble. Carnival is just, the festivities have just ended. Sure, we're all happy and feel good and so on. But this is January, back to
The
real
grind, yeah.
life, and we see what the first week in January has produced already.
Yeah.
For the new year has produced already, and we absolutely have to pay attention to what happens. In
It
the
seems.
political arena.
It seems
right,
to me.
Hortensia?
Huh?
Right? We absolutely have to pay attention to what happens in the political arena.
Yeah.
Right?
It seems to me, Mr. McMahon, that again I could be wrong here, but it seems to me like the American people, including Congress, might find a way to curtail Mr. Trump, and they're going to use other means other than they're going to be. Right now, they're going deep into his taxes. And they have the Epstein file, and they're going to find they're going to find various angles to come at him. And the way they're going with these taxes right now, he's in a bit of a bind, right? So I don't know.
Trump, you're not Trump.
Yeah.
Trump gonna wriggle right out of. That's why I say in some respects we underestimate him. I don't know how he does it, but he just finds a way to wriggle out of these things.
But if we allow him to keep wriggling out of these things, the world is going to pay a price for it.
More than it's been paying, yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, there are a lot of people suffering.
Yeah.
Said that he was going to end all wars essentially, but this I don't know. This. He's changing the world for sure.
For sure.
And a lot of people, including like the EU and so on, Britain and the EU, they haven't quite figured him out either.
No,
they are not
look,
sure of
right
how they
now,
should react to them.
Right now, they are as off guard as we are.
Yeah,
they're scrambling right now.
They are scrambling to figure out.
Yeah, they're scrambling.
It's an amazing thing to follow, to watch.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. You have a good day.
Same to you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that's how we bring an end to the Do Take Care. Any parting words, Content?
Yeah, just have a good one today. Have a good week.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
More than 42 million cars from 19 different car companies are being recalled for faulty airbag inflators. Repairs are fast, easy, and free. The problem isn't with the airbag, it's with the airbag inflator. Because the inflator can rupture